Randy Orton building his legacy.
Both of you want to be part of this legacy.
Randy Orton calling the shots.
I give you the opportunity to be associated with me. I will not tolerate losers. I will not accept failure. Bigger than the Horsemen. Bigger than evolution.
The legacy.